Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon. And I figured I'll talk about two princess movies today, folks. The idea here is to find movies that are have something in common, I guess, some sort of way within the context of the overall movie. Are they similar enough to some extent? I guess you can say they are in fact comparable. I guess you can say, and yes, they're made from the same company, even though they don't necessarily have to, really. But it's one of those videos I wanted to do. I've been meaning to do for a little while, and I think it's been long enough for one of these movies to I guess marinate. I guess you can say. That's a weird way to put it. I've seen it recently. I think it's been a good while. Uh, and I feel that maybe okay. A lot of people spoke about these movies and whatnot, and I want to compare the two. But anyway, just a little side note is that after this video, I'm going to give the Disney stuff a rest because I've been doing it for quite some time. I will return to do another Disney movie marathon at some point again, of course. This doesn't mean I'm going to stop permanently. Of course not. So yeah, that's the thing. I'll return to Disney eventually, of course. So yeah, and that's the thing. I do that. I do this every time I do a Disney-a-thon. I go for quite a while, then cut. I guess catch a break. How do you say this? Yeah, take a break. That's how you say. Yeah, take a break from it. Especially this time around. It's been roughly 2 months ish. I've been doing this. Yeah, which is fine, I guess. I mean, I know a lot of people won't do that. Have a long, continuous Disney marathon for back to back, back to back, back to back. But I guess I'm not most people. I guess you can say. But anyway, uh, yeah, like I was saying, I don't compare two films that are similar enough in some ways and decide which one's better. Even though I already know which one's better, in my honest opinion. But I will explain why which one's better, of course. I've done videos similar to this before, like ages ago. So it feels like it's been like centuries since I've done something like this. So yeah, I've done videos like this before. But so it's something I haven't done in quite some time. And another thing is that I like to thank anybody ahead of time because this is going to be a fairly lengthy video. So yeah, whoever actually watches this, thank you, whoever you are, and much appreciated. Because I know at times these videos can be really lengthy, can be long as all hell. So again, I appreciate anybody who's watching this. So okay, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. Enough of the damn build up, I guess you can say. So anyway, so the two films today that I'm going to speak about are both films involve, magic and somewhat, I guess, in some ways. And both have something to do with trust. Both have something to do with princesses. Both have something to do with going on this grand adventure. Both have to do something with overcoming an obstacle, I guess you can say. And both have something to do with family and going on embarking this journey. Yes, I know this is incredibly vague when you think about it, but there's some similarities, I guess you can say. Both have princesses, of course, and whatnot. And just a heads up, yes, there's going to be spoilers in this video. So, if you want to continue anyway, even if you haven't seen either film, it's up to you. And if you want to proceed anyway and watch the two films later, that's up to you. And I just thought to let you know. Whoever was coming across this video, just thought I'd point that out, is all I'm saying. So, I know some people out there may not care and may watch the movies later, if ever, I guess. But, I'm just throwing my 2 cents over here, of course. But I thought these films, came out in close enough in release, I guess you would say. Of course, The Last Strike came out in 2001, whereas Frozen 2 came out in 2019. So it's not okay. There's a bit of a gap there, but it's not too far apart, I guess you can say. So, and both were made from the same studio, so I guess it was that. I guess you can say. Anyway, yeah, let's just get to the nitty gritty. I guess you can say. Just get to the point and whatnot because this discussion I want to talk about. Okay, it's pretty obvious me to say. Yes, I think Frozen 2 is the better film. If I don't compare it to that other movie, yes, I like that one a lot more. But just bear with me, folks. Like I said, I'm going to explain why I'm saying such things and whatnot. So, yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, yes, both films do have these characters that go on the grand adventure. Not for the same reasons, of course. Each film displays why they would have to go on their own adventure, of course. The main character of this film, yeah, she pretty much lived on her own for quite a while because something had occurred to with her papa. He has been turned to stone when she was really small, and ever since she's been training how to fight and whatnot. I mean, I don't know who took care of her, but okay, sure. But bottom line is that she is someone that she has to take care of herself, of course. Uh, and then there's like the whole backstory where, like, long time ago, where humans and dragons lived together in harmony in this, I guess, in this world. But when evil threatens the land, and the dragons have sacrificed themselves to save humanity. Then fast forward about what 500 years later, the warrior, or main character, who happens to be a princess, of course, she must track down the legendary last dragon to stop the evil forces that pretty much had returned. But the thing is that, to me, more crazier is that once again, whole war has been threatened, of course, home and whatnot, and something must be done about this kind of a thing, of course. And then, yeah, our main character finds this dragon who would become a important part of the story, of course. And the dragon actually transforms into a human because of this stone thing. Yeah, this stone thing does have some relevances to the story. It's very important to the overall plot and whatnot, the stone. And that's one of the things that drives the story together. These stone things that glow and whatnot. They become very important as people want it, of course. They desperately want it, of course. And then there's this character who become important for some reason. And this character also does, like, fighting, and is really, really great and fine despite being a baby. What? What? How did that happen? That makes no sense. Oh, okay. Okay. Anyway, I mentioned a moment ago, these crystal stone-like things are very important, so you'd think they'd be heavily guarded. Oh boy. I got questions about this, but before I get to that, of course, yeah, this thing tries to claim that, uh, nobody's trusting, and that's why the world is bad. Okay, that's just stupid. I mean, really? Oh, that's not enough trust. That explain what's wrong here. Unfortunately, yes, uh, not everyone can be trusted. But the film is trying to play it off like it's because you have to trust everybody at once, right away. But unfortunately, you can't do that. Realistically speaking, no. Not that I'm trying to be a pessimist. I'm not saying that there aren't good people. But since people are, people, though people can be really flawed, you might never know that somebody can have some sort of interior motive to do something bad against you. And guess what? That's exactly what happens in the movie. So in some ways, it's contradicting itself. The dragon character throughout the entire movie wants to automatically trust everyone. That's terrible advice, especially for little kids for watching this. Uh, just like respect, trust should be earned, not automatically given. And yes, by automatically giving respect and trust automatically, again, it does backfire, which again contradicts the movie. It's tripping its own 2 feet, is what I'm saying. Yeah, I like the whole stone thing that glows, what do you even call it? Like I say, it becomes important, especially towards the end of the movie. And yeah, there's like a little showdown with the characters for the stone. And like I said before, the Dragonite character blindly accepts everybody and whatnot. And that automatically leads to her death in the movie. And that's kind of thing, like I said, the movie doesn't know what it's trying to do. You see, of course that's going to happen. They're all bad people. You can't trust the villains in a lot of these movies. I mean, of course, some villain characters could have a change of heart, but not every single villain character. Even then, even if the character has a change of heart, that still doesn't mean the character should be trusted. You can't just blindly trust everybody. And a lot of the time, throughout the entire movie, blindly trust certain characters led to other characters getting into some trouble. That seems to be a constant thing. How can you not notice this whatsoever? This is, yeah, it has some bad writing because of this, when you think about it, so it doesn't quite work in the way that they were, trying to explain. As for the dragon character, like we're saying, that she does bring up the fact that when she was like long ago, she put trust in the other dragon characters, and the dragon characters put trust in her to revive them because they were stoned and whatnot. And tells our main character to trust the same way that she trusted those dragons, and those dragons trusted her when they were turned to stone. Maybe that can be the same way the main character can trust the villain. That's just moronic. That's not the same kind of. They're not the same kind of thing going on here. Ugh. And I mean, this type of character can be so easily taken advantage of. Oh boy. Point being, the villain character had her own motives to do what she wants. She was bad from the start. You could say jealousy or whatever else that might be there. But the villain character in this movie was up to no good. Of course, it's not gonna be the same kind of thing going on. It's not the same kind of situation, and not the same kind of scenario. It's day and night different. Oh boy, apples to oranges different. You get what I'm saying here. Oh boy, just it doesn't make any sense at all. It's like comparing an alligator to a zebra. Different. I mean, really. Just because you trusted family doesn't mean the main character should trust the villain character. Oh boy, this is stupid. Yeah, there's quite a few other things that seem off. I know it comes off like trash talking the last dragon, and yes, it has flaws, very flawed. In a lot of ways, it's really stupid. I guess you can say. But it's not by far the worst Disney movie at all. I know I'm making it out seem like it has to be one of the absolute worst out there, but no. There's a lot of stupid moments, yes. There's lots and lots of stupid moments, yes. But I wouldn't exactly say it's the worst at all. It's not bad, bad, like really awful, but at the same time, it's not terribly good either. I blame the writing in a lot of ways. The writing is just not very good. The scriptwriter should have spent more time ironing out some things and whatnot. And in some ways, it felt like this film was just made just because a lot of people out there were accusing Disney, specifically the old princess movies like Cinderella. Yes, the original Cinderella was deemed sexist. I mean, that's not true, but that's how people viewed it. Even Sleeping Beauty was also deemed as a sexist statement. Again, it's not, but okay. Even Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs were also viewed as sexist. Again, it's not. But that's how a lot of people took it, just because it was made in a different time period. And yes, people criticize Disney because of those films like that, for being sexist. Oh, it's sexist. Oh boy. I don't care what anyone tells me. This movie was made as a response to that. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. So whatever diversity the film is trying to do doesn't come off genuine whatsoever. Like, at all, really. This is some type of people to complain about Dragon Age Inquisition for apparently whitewashing a certain character. Are you kidding me? Oh boy. Just, no. And, yeah, I was trying to see you have a bone to pick. Well, yeah, a bone or two to pick from that movie. Again, I didn't exactly hate it. I did think the animation is great. It's probably the best part of the movie. It's like, it comes off one of those movies that's trying way too hard to come off deep when it really isn't, really. But, yeah, it has some good moments. Don't get me wrong. The movie does have some good moments. But those moments I brought up and other irritating moments like many others really brought the film down for me. I'm just saying. Yeah, but yeah. But anyway, okay, but moving on from that, I just want to bring up the other movie, of course, obviously, because it's not just going to be that movie alone, of course. But anyway, just to, I'm talking about princess movies right here. Yes, I'm going to talk about the story and whatnot. So don't be telling me I'm just looking too deep into it. Story is very important as far as I'm concerned. Uh, Story divides. I mean, yeah, story can be about, your life, everybody's life. It's a definition of the human experience, is what I'm saying here. Story does matter as far as I'm concerned. Everybody has a story to tell. Everybody goes through a story, as an experiences, I mean. Everybody has something to say. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, plot is very important. So don't be telling me that I'm just taking this entire thing way too serious. If it's presented in a certain manner, I'm going to take it as such. But anyway, as I was about to say, in Frozen 2, yeah, the adventure continues as Elsa hears a mysterious voice. This mysterious voice is calling out to her, and this, of course, something that she didn't expect whatsoever. And this mysterious voice seems to have a feminine tone to it for some reason. And at first, she tries to ignore it, and this, of course, happens after the fact that they just got to playing a game with Anna, Kristoff, and whatnot. They just got to playing a little game inside the castle, of course. But the thing is that something's out there is calling out to her for some reason. She doesn't exactly know why, really. But of course, she's bothered by this mysterious voice. She wants to stay in the castle. She doesn't want to go out on an adventure because she wants to remain safe. It's really comfortable, and she wants to stay comfortable. However, the thing is that maybe deep down, she wants to have more fun. She wants to have another adventure and whatnot. And I mean, yes, of course, that's conflicting emotionally speaking. She wants to go, but she doesn't. But then she does. But then she doesn't. But then she does. But then, of course, she eventually just accepts the fact that she has to go. Deep down, something's telling her she has to go. Follow this said voice. Obviously. I mean, yes, the theme of trust is played in this movie, of course. She trusts Princess Anna, who is her younger sister, and she trusts Kristoff, the deer, and of course the snowman, Olaf. This small group of individuals do trust each other. This idea of trusting each other feels more earned in this way, folks, because you can tell that they deeply care for each other. Of course, it's the way it was written, obviously, and they knew each other for quite some time. They've been knew each other for quite some time. Because Anna and Elsa practically grew up with each other, even though in the first film, Anna's memory has been tweaked up a bit. But point being, they grew up with each other. And they had a grand adventure as well in that movie too. And of course she didn't exactly grow up with Kristoff. Maybe in some way she did grow up with Kristoff too because the sequel takes place 6 years after the original. So yes, in some ways you say they grew up with each other. Maybe not since childhood, but still. Princess Anna and Queen Elsa grew up with him in some ways, I guess you can say, along with the reindeer and of course the snowman. So they got attached to each other, of course, emotionally speaking, and they never gave any indication to not trust each other. They didn't have interior motives to betray each other, of course, and whatnot. So that whole idea of trust feels more genuine. It never felt forced. It felt like it was more accepting of each other and whatnot. It came off more better constructed in that way. So there's that, obviously. Of course, this is what led them, this group of characters, to go on this grand adventure to this enchanted forest. Yes, this enchanted forest does become a major role in the grand scheme of things in terms of the story. And this has something to do with the fact that with the parents whom they trust, of course. The parents told them about this kind of a thing when they were much, much younger, and when they were little kids. So this affected them when they were adults, much older, of course. Yeah, no, they kind of did the same thing when this character was young. She had to do some things and whatnot, which affected her when she grew up. But it doesn't feel the same. It does not feel the same kind of energy whatsoever. So, so yeah, those things can, when you think about it, might come out a bit similar than you might think. and whatnot. I mean, of course, you can always argue that Disney is going on its own formula and whatnot when it comes to these kinds of movies, which in itself doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing per se. It just depends how it's done and whatnot. And Frozen 2, yes, I do realize Frozen 2 does attempt to have diversity as well. They had diversity, these indigenous people, I guess you can say, which are in the Enchanted Forest. Yeah, they didn't get along with Elsa and the others right away, but they, I guess, grew on each other because you have to earn their trust. And of course, it's tied in with the whole mother character, of course, which yes, does play an important part because, again, going back to when they were younger, it's really established they really love their parents, even when they were young. And since they were always together in Elsa and Anna, this is reflected later on in the film as it progresses, as they have to explore this new ground that they never had. Because they have to find the truth behind this enchanted forest. And yes, not all what it seems, because somebody in the family tree, I should say, was a scumbag. And there you go. Some people are just bad from the start. And not every character needs to be morally gray and whatnot. I know Disney, with some of the films, are trying to make the characters morally gray, especially the villains. Whatnot. That's not always. That's not the case. Yeah. In that case, yeah, like the Last Dragon. The Last Dragon in that film, the Last Dragon was trying to make their villain morally gray, but then it steps on 2 feet because being morally gray does not mean you're the villain. I mean, not a hero. I mean, excuse me, heroine either, but still somewhere in the middle. But they got that wrong. But in Frozen 2, you can clearly see who's supposed to be the villain, and it had something to do with the grandpa, I guess you can say, because the grandpa, Elsa and Anna's grandpa, was a scumbag. Yeah, think about that. Yeah, Grandpa Bog, as you would say. Yeah, he seemed calm. He seemed sweet. He seemed like he cared. He seemed like a good listener. He seemed like he's loving. But that's all to be deceitful. He wanted people to think he can be trusted. But turned out, nope. He's the bad guy. I mean, he wasn't the main villain in the entire story, sure. But it was just to explain, to connect the dots, so to speak, how one thing led to another, then this and that. That was kind of the whole point of that part of the story. But it was to explain how certain things in the story came to be, and here's the root of it. And yeah, he was a scumbag, alright. It tells you that yes, there are bad people in the world. They had bad intentions. You should not trust blindly whatsoever. Unfortunately, this kind of stuff does happen in real life. There you go. That's a good lesson right there. Show the young audience that unfortunately this is the reality. Uh, you know, it just depends how you take care of it. You have to be determined to find the truth. Through some investigation, because the water has memory and whatnot, the character of Grandpapa turned a traitor. So he wanted to use his indigenous people for his own benefit. Fear is what you need to watch out for, of course. It can be a bad thing. You don't need to be fearful of others. So yeah, again, you can't trust everybody. Ever. You can't trust every single person that you meet, unfortunately. There are good people, yes. There are bad people, yes. There are people in the gray, yes. But still. And then, yes, there was some sort of deal, and this has something to do with the dam, of course. She realizes maybe she has gone too far in, risking her own life to find the truth. So, yeah, this kind of stuff is what I'm talking about. Stuff like this. I mean, trust me, folks, I could go on and on and on. This video has gone long enough as it is, but stuff like this is why I felt like Frozen 2 is a much better film. It's constructed better in, in its themes, in the construction of the story, and yes, like I said before a moment ago, yes, there's diversity, sure, but it doesn't feel forced. It felt like it all comes together like a puzzle piece. Like this entire movie is a puzzle piece, and the better more fit, the better the movie is. The better the dialogue and whatnot, of course. So yeah, this kind of stuff is what I'm talking about. It's why I feel like this movie is a better film. And Frozen 2, it tries to have some sort of, marriage proposal, romantic thing going on with Kristoff. I don't know what happens. It's kind of like a gag throughout the entire movie in some ways. And, but yeah, that's about the story. But it doesn't feel like, it never makes men look like the joke. It never made men look like they're a punchline. Frozen 2 does succeed in a sense, also in the idea that men are just as important as the women in their own way. I mean, it doesn't overly glorify the women, and it doesn't overly glorify the men. It doesn't make one gender look worse than the other. It doesn't treat anybody in these characters as a joke. Yeah, there might be humor, sure, throughout the entire movie. There might be some laughs, okay, that's fine. Humor can be used in a way to, make it, ease attention a little bit, a bit, and whatnot. The Last Dragon does have humor, but it fails at it. It tries to be funny, it tries to be clever, I guess, but it doesn't quite work as well because not. It was like we're saying earlier with the whole baby bit. It just comes off ridiculous in a lot of ways. And I'm not against humor in a princess movie, but still, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it couldn't work. Maybe the punchline is that it's over the top. Okay, make it over the top. If you can go to that extent, make it funny. At least make the ridiculousness with the whole baby bit and whatever else. At least make it funny. I'm not saying it can't work because it can. Maybe it's making fun of itself. You couldn't easily. That's like a missed opportunity. It's definitely a missed opportunity. Make that be a joke unto itself. The fact it's over the top. Make that a joke unto itself. Maybe in the movie you can make fun of it. Maybe kind of like a parody of itself. Maybe I don't know. You can still have a serious message because you can easily use humor to talk about a serious topic. It just depends how it's done. Oh boy. I mean, Frozen 2, I had more laughs with that movie than The Last Dragon because, again, the way it's written, it felt more genuine. It felt like, it didn't feel out of place. It didn't feel like it was being forceful with a type of humor. It didn't come off stupid in any kind of way. But yeah, folks. Yeah, the dialogue was done better, of course. I like the music, of course. I mean, Frozen 2 is basically a musical, obviously. But, but yeah, of course, there's the animal sidekicks. Frozen 2 has animal sidekicks. I mean, I just wonder if everyone caught Olaf. I guess the reindeer. I guess the reindeer can be considered as as an animal sidekick. And then the Last Dragon had, the dragon. So these movies does have some things that come off similar. Of course, like trademarks. That's easily recognizable for the Disney princess. So it's there. It's there. So of course, not that I'm complaining, obviously. Again, it just depends on its execution, is what I'm trying to get at here, folks. So yes, Frozen 2 is obviously the winner in this, of course. There's a lot more memorable lines in here, folks, as well. The humor is done better, the lines are done better, and I mean, yes, both films look really good. Both films look really gorgeous. The animation is, of course, it's great. But like I said, I was trying to say is the Last Dragon, the best aspect of the film is the animation. That's about it, really. And just no, and just weird. Just the entire thing is weird. I guess another complaint I want to bring up. Another thing. I know some people might be thinking this is nitpicking, but no, it's not nitpicking. But one thing I want to bring up real fast is that the main character in the Last Dragon. One thing that the angry feminazis keep complaining about over and over and over and over and over is that, oh no, the princess characters, they're too gorgeous looking, they're too pretty, they're too beautiful. So, in regards to that, Disney responded by making the main character, they really tried their hardest to not make her as pretty or whatever on purpose because of this. Come on now. But then again, in Frozen 2, Queen Elsa, they pretty much dolled her up, trying to make her as pretty as possible. So, what? I'm so confused. Yeah. If you're gonna do that anyway, why are you gonna listen? Why are you gonna just cave in? Come on, Disney. What? Again, I guess you can say to explain that contradiction. Maybe it's because who directed it, who wrote the script, who's behind it, the CEO or whatever. Maybe it's two different groups of people, which did happen. one group of it was fine with it and the other wasn't. Yeah, the same people who worked on Frozen 2 did not work on The Last Dragon. So I guess that explains the contradiction, I guess. So, there's that. Honestly, it's still kind of stupid when you think about it, but yeah, it's still stupid nonetheless. I mean, that's the explanation, I guess. It comes to mind, I suppose, but it's still kind of stupid. Oh boy. But yeah, folks, I guess I should just wrap things up because this video is pretty lengthy. And like I said, I'll get back to Disney sooner or later after this video. This will be the last video of my Disney movie marathon, but I get back to Disney sooner or later. I mean, there's a bunch, a lot of other things I want to, bring up. But this video is already, lengthy as it is. It's over half an hour already. But yeah, like I do appreciate anybody for watching, of course. Thank you very much, obviously. But yeah, of course, like we're saying, I did like Frozen a lot more. It blows The Last Dragon out of the water. I guess no pun intended. I guess you can say. First, I didn't like how The Last Dragon was. It got pretty stupid as it went. I guess. I mean, it was pretty flawed from the beginning because they never explained how the main character in The Last Dragon was taken care of. When his father was turned to stone, and then who took care of her until at the end of the movie where everybody was unstoned? What about that? And the whole getting stoned thing. Do they age? I mean, how did yeah, I guess not. Because yeah, I was expecting her father to be a lot older. And I guess magic. I guess whatever. And I guess for him, it seemed like a little while, and he doesn't even question the fact that she's a lot older compared to the last time he had seen her. He just, oh, okay, whatever, just accepts it, I guess, which I thought was kind of weird. I mean, you think he'd be asking a lot of questions because his daughter, the last time he had seen her, in the Last Dragon, of course, when she was tiny, when she was smaller, and he doesn't ask any questions whatsoever. That doesn't make any sense. That's kind of dumb. But yeah, folks, I had a lot of issues with the Last Dragon, of course. I mean, again, it's not the worst Disney princess movie. I've seen a lot worse than this, The Last Dragon, but it was just not well constructed whatsoever. Really, it's just not well constructed. Really, it got really stupid as it went. It started off kind of bad, but it just got worse from there. But yeah, folks. All right, just whatever. I like Frozen a lot more. Frozen 2 is definitely the better film. Uh, a stronger story too as well. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, I guess you can say. Later. Oh yeah. See you.